This month on Ones to Watch, Jane Atkinson joins us again, and she is watching a young lady by the name of Ionnie McNeill. She's only 20 years old. What a gem of a find. Where did you find her?
In the hallway. In the hallways of NSA, there are many things to be found, and this girl is absolutely a diamond. She started learning how to invest money when she was 7 years old, and then turned around and started teaching other kids how to invest. And I just don't think it's going to be very long before we hear her name associated with the White House.
One of the things that amazes me about her, in your book and in other months when we've done this, you've asked people, about picking their lane, about what their flashpoints are, about having that label. She, at 20, already refers to herself as the Baby Billionaire. She has definitely picked a lane, which is finance, and she's flashpointing since the age of 7.
It's crazy. She's definitely one to watch.
I am the Baby Billionaire, educating other youth on becoming baby billionaires, and I do that through an investment education along with money management tips.
So you have a very interesting beginning to how you fell into this career at a very, very young age of 7. Mm-hmm. How did that all begin?
Well, at the age of 7, that's when my mom, along with, some other people, wanted to make a lot of money, didn't know how to invest on their own. So what do? They go out and find somebody that says, I can make a lot of money for you. Ends up giving this guy a lot of money. He doesn't return it, neither does he return. And that's when my mom made the decision in her mind that she had to educate herself on her own personal finances. This happened when I was 7, and once she started to attend investment classes, investment conferences, and seminars, she would always take me with her. So in always taking me with her, I absorbed everything that came my way, everything that I heard and listened to. And not only did I learn in the class, but I had to be the teacher at home because my mom made me redo the work. Not only reteach her, but, do her homework for her in terms of studying stocks, and then say, oh, well, help this lady learn how to do it too. So in learning about it, I quickly became a teacher by having to help others.
Okay, so let's just get this straight. You're 7, 8 years old, and you've learned all this information about how do you run your own investments. And now you start to teach other people how to do it. So tell us about how that you extended that out to the kids around you.
Well, I have to say, when I started learning it, the one thing that caught me and my attention that I remember oh so vividly was this whole concept of ownership. There was a guy doing this presentation to kids on investing, and he said that I could walk into McDonald's and basically, if I owned shares of stock in McDonald's, I would be buying stuff that I had ownership on. I mean, I could walk up to the register, and in essence, the cashier people or the people that handled the fries were in essence working for me. So with that, I was hooked. I was the owner of something before I even had a real job. So from that, I came home, told my mom, because I was also a basketball player at that age, and, said to my mom, Mom, I think owning Nike stock is better than owning Nike shoes. And from that, my mom was like, oh my gosh, that was the epitome for her. And I just said it as if, oh, you didn't know this? So from that, her friends would, she had an investment club called Staff, Sisters Together Achieving Financial Freedom. And I would help teach them how to analyze the stocks that they were using in their portfolio. Then that turned through word of mouth to other youth organizations who wanted to bring in somebody to teach their kids about money management and investing. So from that, it's still growing now.
Phenomenal. And here you are at 20 years old. This is
Yes.
your third NSA conference.
Yes.
You are an old timer practically now. You know, it's great that you're so focused. You know exactly where you're going. You run your own public seminars.
Yes.
What does that involve?
Well, this past year, we hosted the second annual National Youth Investing Conference. And when I say me, I mean the Baby Billionaire, along with just some wonderful corporate sponsors such as the Home Depot, Wachovia Wells Fargo, and other names such as that, as well as other small corp companies. We put on this conference a full-day workshop going from 8 to 5, teaching kids and their parents about investing. In the beginning, a lot of the people walked in not even knowing what investing was, and on top of that was scared of investing because, I mean, everything they listened to, why shouldn't they be? By the end, they did a presentation with the 5 stocks that they wanted to put in their stock portfolio. And then at the end of that, they met with over 25 different corporations who had their investor relations departments present to be able to directly buy stock from that company.
Wow. So let's talk about behind the scenes a little bit. Putting bums in seats at a public seminar is a big deal.
Man.
And you had 80 people the first year, 100 people the second year, so it's growing.
It is growing. But it definitely was a lot of work, and it was not something I did all by myself, and especially being a junior accounting major. I mean, accounting, that's like long, hard, and boring. I mean, major at Howard. With the work of my staff, volunteers, it was made possible. But I mean, we were planning this thing from the latest January all the way up to June. Weekly Friday morning phone calls, conference calls, updates, dealing with outreach from schools to churches, colleges, and universities, dealing with corporate sponsorships, trying to fund just the whole 9 yards. It was definitely an experience.
Well, I can imagine that the media would be very, very interested in all of the things that you're doing, and they have. You've been you put on sessions for some magazines before. Let's talk about
Yes.
the media interest in you.
Well, one of the latest and greatest events that I was invited to do and had the supreme pleasure of doing was being invited to speak at the Essence Young Women's Leadership Conference, which happened in November in Washington, D.C. And of course, I was one of the youngest panelists there, and actually on like the primetime stage with other, just financial gurus about mortgages and how to get out of debt. And it was an amazing event. They planned for, I think, 1,000 women, young women from, I think, 1825. In actuality, they had close to 2,000 show up. So that event was powerful. I've also been interviewed in the Chicago Tribune, Better Investing Magazine, Young Money Matters Magazine, Black Enterprise Magazine. The list a little bit goes on from there, but it is wonderful. It's wonderful to be able to get this message out to so many people.
What's coming down the pike for you now?
Well, as of the end of that second conference, we are definitely planning the third conference, which is going to be held in St. Louis around the same time, the end of June. Also, I have a book that I'm currently in the process of writing. The title as of right now is You're Paying for What You Don't Know. And it's basically a how-to and educational guide to young teens, teenagers, and young adults, especially in the college age, on how do I make my money work for me?
Girl, you rock.